Hey everyone, check this dope-ish. I have another classic knife for you. This knife is a couple years old. It's the Sanrenmu 710 and one of my favorite budget knives of all time. I use these knives on a regular basis, carry them. They're super light, super well constructed, great lockup, great materials. The fit and finish is top notch. I haven't had a problems with the blades, with the handles, and they're just perfect for what I use them for. These are light duty knives, right? This isn't something you're going to go batoning a big piece of wood with. This is light duty, cutting threads or cordage, small cordage, opening packages, mail. Very light duty stuff, cutting an apple. And it comes in multiple colors, which I have a few here. But just to give you a quick look at this knife, you can see the blade, the style here. It's about 3 inches long. Has some jimping, very light jimping here on the top of the blade. But it's good because it lets you know that it's there where your thumb is. And the handle, now this is the classic model. And it's actually kind of a stainless, I believe it's aluminum. But it has like this nail file texturing to the handle, which I kind of like. It gives some texture, gives some grip. I don't have a problem with it. Some like it, some don't. I think it does come in handy, and it just adds a little bit. And considering it's a knife that can be had for under $10, this thing is incredible, right? Incredible. So it's also tip down carry, which I do like for these types of knives. I just feel it's safer in the pocket. And yes, it does fit in that fifth pocket. The pocket we hardly use unless you have a lighter in there. But that right-hand side pocket, these fit perfect in there. You carry them and you won't even know they're so light. So here's a look at that pocket clip. Now each of these knives are basically the same in style. They're just different colors and a slight variation in materials. I'll get into that a little later. Right, but these are really awesome knives. Great quality, no complaints. So this is kind of the original, right? When you talk Sanrenmu 710, this is the original. Now, what about the others? Well, there's the original black as well. It came out a little later. It's the same thing, has that kind of nail file texturing on the handle, but it's not as gritty. It almost feels like they kind of painted over the grit here, this nail file. So it's much smoother. It's not as grippy, but it's still a different texture than the handle. But this is basically all black. So just to give you a look at what that looks like. Now I'll put a link below. I'll put maybe a link to GearBest. But I've picked some of these up at Fastech. I picked some up at Amazon, GearBest. GearBest usually has the best prices, but again, it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks. So it's going to take some time. So you can pick them up on Amazon for a few extra bucks. And again, they're all available for under $10 for the most part on GearBest and a little more on Amazon. Now this one, it's black, has a little design here into the handle, a little flame design. They make this also with a design that has some flowers in it. But flowers aren't really my style. But I do like it. If I wanted to buy a knife for a lady, I might consider it. It might not be my first choice, the flower option. But again, this is very similar. It just doesn't have the nail file texturing on the handle. It just has a real smooth design, which is maybe one drawback on these knives is that they are a little slick. When you don't have that nail file texturing there, it can be slick, especially in wet conditions or if you're sweating a little and you're trying to do a little heavy-duty gripping, it can get a little slippery. So these, again, are very light-duty knives. They're liner lock. All of them are liner lock, and they're just awesome, disposable knives that are incredible quality. Now, getting to some of my favorites here. This is like, they call it a stone wash. It's basically just like a gray graphite color. This is probably the smoothest of the bunch. If this thing gets wet, it's slick already, but it's just really comfortable. It's nice. Again, the jimping, all the same styles. Pocket clip. I mean, and all of them are very similar construction and opening. They all flick open very well. I haven't had any problems, like I said. So the quality control is great on all the different styles. And there are actually more styles than this. I think there's even a zebra looking handle one. And this is the last one I have. It's a camouflage, which, you know, you might think, oh, it's a little more industrial or outdoorsy, whatever. The coating on this is a little different. It's a little more grippy, and it's a little thicker, just maybe a millimeter thicker on the handle. That's all it is. So it does add a little bit more weight, and it feels solid. So just keep that in mind that the camouflage does have a little different texturing that makes it a little grippier, which I do like. So if you really don't want a slick knife, maybe this is the one. Maybe get one of the other knives with the nail file on it. But yeah, these are the Sanrenmu 710. It comes in camouflage, kind of a gray graphite, a black with a design. It also has a fire and flower. This is the fire version. There is also the black original with the nail file texture and the original Sanrenmu 710, kind of the stainless model as I call it. You know, this is just incredible. One of my favorites as well. But yeah, I'll put the link below. Check them out. If you haven't experienced these knives, you know, YouTube it, Google it, check them out, see what other people say. Don't just trust me. And I would recommend just buying one for yourself, buying a handful for yourself. They're so cheap. Just use them, abuse them, and you might fall in love with them. So that's it. Take care.